Coming up on DITV, the Daily Iowan met with VP of Student Life, Dr. Melissa Shivers. Stay tuned to hear what she had to say about the numerous action and strategic plans the university is working on.
And later, DITV reporter Kaylin Klug brings us a recap of her year reporting on Iowa City's vivid arts and culture scene.
It's been a fun year talking Hawkeye athletics. We'll take a look back at the highlights in sports.
Are we going to have nice weather for graduation weekend? Stay tuned to find out.
All that and more coming up on this Friday, May 10th edition of DITV.
Don't go anywhere, DITV starts right now.
Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Mackenzie Cooper.
And I'm Abby Napolis. For the last time this semester, the Daily Iowan met with VP for Student Life, Dr. Melissa Shivers. She discussed the DEI action plan and the Fraternity and Sorority Life strategic plan. We have DITV news reporter Sydney Zatz live in the newsroom to give us a more in-depth look into the interview. Good morning, Sydney.
Good morning. Now, for the past year, Dr. Shivers has served as the Interim Associate Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion here at the University of Iowa. This summer, Tawong Wilson will be taking over that role, and Dr. Shivers discussed the importance of the DEI action plan, as well as the important role that individuals can play.
People really understanding the differences between diversity, equity, and inclusion. In order to really make a paradigm shift, there has to be a clear understanding of what that means, and then what is it going to require for me to think differently or for me to do things differently.
In December 2018, 4 UI fraternities lost their registered student org status. This comes after investigation that found these fraternities violated the Greek life moratorium. Dr. Shivers discussed what the strategic plan means and how she is working to make Greek life more positive on campus.
So they will be able to talk to us about what they see in the plan, and then we want to start to have a campus conversation about the FSL strategic plan to get perspectives from students that may not be members of the Pan-Hellenic or the IFC or the fraternity sorority community at all, to talk with advisors, with alumni, with national offices, because what we know is that this plan will not be successful unless we have the buy-in from those who are the most impacted.
For more in the interview, Dr. Shivers, make sure you head over to dailyiowan.com. For my last time in the newsroom, this is Sydney Zatz. Guys, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Sydney. The University of Iowa will receive a national recognition from the National Association of Student Personnel Administrators for first-generation student initiatives. This recognition comes after nearly 40 years of the university putting an emphasis on first-generation students. In June, administrators from the UI will receive professional development with focus on first-generation student initiatives that have found success on other campuses. University of Iowa President Bruce Harold had this to say about first-generation students as we head towards the end of the semester and graduation approaches.
Because this is a special time on campus. We've got, what, 5,280 graduates going through the process next few days. I think one of the amazing things about that cohort is the not just the size, but also 1/5 of them are first-generation students, which we really put a real focus on that, and I think we keep talking about.
For more information, visit dailyiowan.com.
Well, Mackenzie, it's a pretty nice day outside. No good note to end finals week on.
Yes, I definitely agree, and hopefully it stays that way into graduation weekend. We have Jake Mayer live in the weather studio with more. Good morning, Jake.
Good morning, Mackenzie. All right, before we get into the forecast for the weekend, let's look at the weather for the last day of finals week. We're looking at a high of 62 degrees with a 10% chance of rain. Moving into the night, we'll see lows near 45 degrees. Now, let's take a peek at our 5-day forecast. Graduation Saturday is going to be cloudy with a high during the day at a pleasant 62 degrees with only a 10% chance of rain. Those chances will increase to 40% moving into Saturday night with a low of 47 degrees. Sunday will be a little cooler than Saturday with a high of 58 degrees, but be prepared for some rain as well. There's a 40% chance. Going into Sunday night, we'll hit a cool 42 degrees. Monday, looks a little warmer with a high of 65 degrees and the sun coming out. In the afternoon, sorry about that, Monday night will be a cool 46 degrees. Tuesday is looking the warmest at 75 degrees, but with a 40% chance of rain. Tuesday night will likely have a 40% chance of rain with a low of 56 degrees. We're looking at some nice weather for the graduation weekend, and for the last time in the weather studio, this is Jake Mayer. Abby and Mackenzie, back to you.
Thanks, Jake. DITV reporter Kaylin Klug has spent the past year covering the Iowa City art scene. Today, she's in the newsroom to show us some of her favorite reporting memories. Kaylin?
Yes, guys, good morning. It's been such a great year interviewing different artists and seeing what they're making. And it's been so special to get to report on this week after week. Just take a look and see what I mean.
Some people might think Iowa is all corn and no culture, but from what my camera's seen, that couldn't be farther from the truth. I've spent the past year talking to some of the most brilliant people around about their creations. The dancers, directors, painters, and writers of Iowa City find endless ways to be unique. Take author and UI professor John DeGata, who allowed his book to be turned into a hit Broadway play last fall, telling the writers they could do whatever they wanted with his name.
It wasn't difficult to hand over myself as a character.
On the local stage, the UI Theater Department presented works old and new. Director Carol McVeigh created a brand new stage adaptation at Northanger Abbey.
And I think Jane Austen would approve.
And then this spring, director Alan McVeigh talked about the challenges of bringing the lavish Sunday in the Park with George to life.
We've never done projections like this before, ever.
But the most magical theater experience for me was taking a backstage tour of the Les Miserables set when the Broadway show came to Hampshire in December. I've never met anyone more devoted to their job than stage manager Jack McLeod.
The crew, we never rest. We'll rest when the tour's over in 4 years.
Also at Hampshire, I got to sit in on super auditions when the Whipped Cream production came. Watching one of the greatest choreographers in the ballet world teach children how to dance like cupcakes makes you smile for days. But many of the greatest artists around are University of Iowa students. Lily DeTay, for example, leads a double life in the classroom and on stage as a touring singer-songwriter. Madeline Mendel hand-stitches together collages that capture what it's like to have a loved one with Alzheimer's.
I like to imagine what it feels like to not know anybody anymore.
And comedian Griffin Murray and his friends hosted monthly house parties where anyone could try their hand at stand-up comedy.
Like, I'm now extroverted when I used to be introverted. It's been one of the best things for me personal growth-wise.
And my favorite group of artists on campus is SVP, who used their filmmaking skills for 24 hours straight every February in a race to create the ultimate recap video for Dance Marathon.
It's just a bunch of fun. There's little kids wearing crazy costumes. And if that doesn't, brighten your heart, I don't know what will.
Another amazing filmmaker is Anahita Gazvini-Zada, who joined the Cinematic Arts Department faculty this year, sharing her Cannes-premiered film, They, with the Iowa City community.
And I had no idea one day I'm going to be teaching screenwriting.
But honestly, there's just too many outstanding creatives to name in one recap. So if you shared your story and your art with me this year, thank you, and carry on.
Well, guys, that really is it for me. It's been such a special year to get to talk to all these artists. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Kaylin. Well, it has been a great year for Hawkeye sports.
Yes, definitely. And to give us a full recap, we have Lucy Rodin live in the sports studio. Good morning, Lucy.
Morning, ladies. Welcome to the final DITV Sportscast of the year. And what better way to end things than by taking a look back at the year in Hawkeye athletics and see how things are shaping up for next year. Now, it seems like ages ago, but we're going to start things off with some highlights from fall sports. The Iowa field hockey team finished this season with their first NCAA tournament appearance since 2012, thanks to 14 wins, which is their most since 2011. Field hockey finished the year ranked 7th nationally, and the Hawks should be set for another good year since they're bringing back almost every starter, including their goalkeeper, top scorer, and assist leader. But you can't talk about fall sports without talking about Hawkeye football. Iowa finished the year at 9-4 with a win over Mississippi State in the Outback Bowl. This year we got to see quarterback Nate Stanley come out of the shell, Amani Hooker lead the defense, and 2 tight ends hear their name called in the first round of the NFL draft. Obviously, Iowa had some big losses going into next year, but from what we've seen so far this spring, it should be another good year for Hawkeye football. But when fans left Kinnick, They went to the stands of Carver Hawkeye Arena. For basketball, Iowa had a great year. It was one of the best seasons we've seen from the men's basketball team, coming back from a season before where they had finished second to last in the Big Ten. The Hawks came back and had a great NCAA tournament appearance, and it was just one of those seasons that you're going to remember forever. Brand McCaffrey said that, it was one of the most heart he's ever seen from an Iowa basketball team. They almost pulled off one of the biggest upsets in the Big Ten tournament. Iowa started the year in the 2K Classic, where they defeated UConn and Oregon in Madison Square Garden. And now next year they're losing two starters, in Isaiah Moss and Tyler Cook, and Macy Daly is transferring as well. But obviously nothing will match the year that the Iowa women's basketball team had. Iowa made it all the way to the Elite Eight and won the Big Ten tournament. Megan Gustafson took home every award in the book and is leaving Iowa the best basketball player that we've ever seen. And like Lisa Bluter, I get kind of emotional thinking about this year.
I'm going to remember cutting down the nets with these guys after winning a Big Ten championship. I'm going to remember Tanaya's resolve coming back. I'm going to remember Hannah Stewart's journey. I'm going to remember getting the opportunity to coach one of the best basketball players in America, and Megan. And that's what I'm going to remember about this season. I'm going to remember the relationships and just the great memories with these young ladies. So I'm very, very fortunate and very, very blessed to coach them.
You know what? I thought a few months later I still wouldn't be so emotional hearing Lisa like that, but it still really hurts. I'm still pretty upset. But before I continue crying, we should move on to wrestling. The Iowa wrestling team finished fourth at the NCAAs this year, had a national champion at 125 in Spencer Lee, and had a few All-Americans. It was just a great year for Iowa. They also won a share of the Big Ten title. So great year for Iowa wrestling, but if we've learned anything from this year, it's that Iowa kind of owned winter sports, because the men's gymnastics team also earned a share of the Big Ten regular season title. It was the first ever in Big Ten men's gymnastics history, and they had several All-Americans at the NCAA tournament competition, this year. It was just a really great year for winter sports, but there are still a lot of spring sports in progress. The track and field team, they're hosting Big Tens this weekend, and Iowa's projected to finish first for the men's team and second for the women's team. Baseball, right now are third in the Big Ten Conference, and they're hosting Michigan State this weekend for their final home series of the year. And softball, they were eliminated yesterday in the Big Ten tournament. They lost to Wisconsin. It was Renee Gillespie's first year, but we expect to see good things from the Iowa softball team as they continue on to next season. But that's all the sports I can cram into this final sportscast. Thank you so much for watching us all year, and we love talking Hawkeye sports with you. We'll see you back here in the fall. But if you still want to keep updated with the baseball team, the other Hawkeye sports that are going on over the summer, you can visit dailyiowan.com. Abby McKenzie, for the final time, back to you.
It's Friday, and that means it's time for the ICAC Animal of the Week. This is reserved for that one special animal at the Iowa City Animal Care and Adoption Center who is ready to meet their new family.
This week's furry friend is May. May is a 5-year-old terrier mix with a playful attitude. May is a great fit for an active household with lots of time to spend with her. She loves to play with children and other dogs. Her favorite toy is her ball, which she likes to carry everywhere she goes. If you're looking for a new family member to spend lots of time with, May might just be the dog for you.
For more information about May, check out the ICAC website, call the phone number, or just go give them a visit.
And thank you for tuning in to this Friday morning edition of DITV.
Be sure to head over to dailyiowan.com for all your latest news throughout the summer. For DITV, I'm Abby Napolis.
And for the very last time for DITV, I'm Mackenzie Cooper. Have a great summer, Hawkeyes, and we will see you back here in the fall.